Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Alexa. Today I'm making chocolate chip cookies with M&Ms that are thick and soft. I've measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find a list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared. First, I'm going to sift together my flour, baking soda, and cornstarch. This is to make sure I don't have any clumps when I combine them with my other ingredients later on. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. I like to use a spoon to press my ingredients through the sifter, but you can also use a rubber spatula or just tap the sides with your hand. I'm going to tap the sides of my sifter with my hands now so I can make sure no ingredients are stuck to the sifter stand. If your sifter doesn't have a stand, you don't have to do this step. Next, I'm going to cream my butter. That means putting my butter in the mixer and letting it mix until it loosens so it will combine better with the rest of my ingredients. Once it looks fluffy, I'm going to add in my brown sugar and granulated sugar. Now, I'm going to scrape down the sides of my bowl, the bottom of my bowl, and the mixer blade with a rubber spatula to help the ingredients incorporate better. Try to get as much batter off your spatula as possible, otherwise it will be harder to combine it with the rest of your batter later on and create clumps. Now I can restart my mixer. It's mixing much better now. I'm going to scrape down my mixer again because I can see that some of my butter is still not combined with the sugars. I can restart my mixer. It looks just about done, but I'm going to speed my mixer up a little bit more so air can enter and it can become light and fluffy. Now, I'm going to scrape down my bowl one more time to make sure everything looks right. It does, so now I can add in my egg. I'm going to scramble my egg quickly with a fork to make it combine better with the rest of my ingredients. I'm scraping down the little bowl my egg was in so I can get as much as I can. Because I scraped down the bowl before adding the egg, it's mixing much better than if I didn't. It isn't entirely mixed together, so I'm going to scrape down my bowl again. Sometimes you might need a second spatula to make sure you get all the batter off your first one. Now I can start my mixer back up. It's looking very good, so I'm going to add my sifted flour mixture to my mixer. Make sure all of the ingredients enter the mixing bowl, otherwise you might be missing some necessary ingredients like baking soda or cornstarch that would make the cookie work better. I noticed some of my dry ingredients were stuck to the mixer blade, so before I start it up, I'm going to scrape my mixer down to make sure the ingredients mix better. I'm going to start my mixer on the lowest setting so no dry ingredients fly out of the mixer. However, once they look like they're starting to combine, I can move it up to a medium speed. It's looking very good, but some dry ingredients are still stuck to the sides of my mixing bowl, so I'm going to scrape down my bowl again. I'm going to let those ingredients mix in a little longer. It looks good, so I'm going to add in my M&Ms and chocolate chips. I'm going to put them in different parts of my mixing bowl so that they will mix in faster. Sorry for the technical difficulties. For some reason our mixer stopped. I'll take a second to unplug it and plug it back in. Now it's working. It looks great, so now I'll move on to the next step. Now, I'm going to scoop my cookies onto the baking sheet. I like to use an ice cream scoop, but you can use a measuring cup if you don't have one. I'm using a 3 tablespoon ice cream scoop, and since there's not a measuring cup that has the same measurements, I'm using a 1/4 cup. These cookies will come out different sizes, so don't bake them together. They will take different times to cook. When using a measuring cup, press the batter all the way into the measuring cup so all the cookies will be the same size. This dough is thick, so it takes some effort to push it into the measuring cup. When using a measuring cup, you can remove the batter using your hands, a rubber spatula, or a spoon. Now, I'm going to roll the cookie into a ball with my hands. Next, I'm going to show you how to use an ice cream scoop. To put the batter into the ice cream scoop, you do the same as you would when using a measuring cup. You need to press the dough all the way into the scoop to make sure all the cookies are the same size. What I like about using an ice cream scoop is that you only need to press the scoop to release the cookie, and you don't need to roll it out afterwards. I'm going to put 6 cookies on this cookie tray because they tend to spread. I'd recommend placing them 2.5 inches apart. If you'd like, you can move on to the next part of this video, but if you'd like to stay and roll out the rest of your cookies, I'll be here rolling out mine too. Before we bake the cookies, we need to put them in the fridge though for an hour to chill. I'm going to put my cookies in the oven now. It's preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. My cookies took 15 minutes to cook, but I'd recommend setting your timer for 10 minutes first, and if they aren't cooked then you set a timer for a few more minutes. Set the tray onto a cooling rack so they can cool. And our cookies are done and looking colorful and delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy your fresh cookies.